what would you say are, the key ingredients to putting together a bundle that, in your opinion, ultimately will work, will be a differentiated offer to subscribers, makes economic sense, makes sense for the partners? What are the considerations that go into making that successful?
I think as a user as well, just looking at a bundle, I want to make sure it has a well-rounded content offering, right? So we're able to see data around viewership overlap, which users are viewing multiple platforms or multiple services, I should say, on our platform. So all of that is really helpful, right? What's synergistic? That's kind of what we're bringing to the table, is being able to look at that data set. On our side, but beyond that, really pricing is really important. Really thinking about your users, segmenting your users, who's most likely to sign up for a bundle versus a standalone product, looking at the ad-free versus ad-supported products, kind of carving out those niches for different users and different pathways. But ultimately, I think a lot of that calculus comes down to our content partners, and we're really here as a supporting partner and platform to launch and market those bundles.
Cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like you said, Anastasia, I think it has to start with, is there a value for the customer? So it's one thing to kind of just take a lot of the brands that we all know, throw them into a bundle for a lower price, and to your point, kind of hope that the subscribers come. But I think it has to start with answering a question for the consumer. So if I look at more recent, and not to distill down these services for anybody who might be in the room, but if you look at what Comcast announced, I look at that and you've got Peacock with sports, you've got Netflix as kind of your large general entertainment play, and you've got Max as being Apple TV. Apple TV. Hard to keep these things straight. I'm working on it day to day, don't even know. And Apple TV is your kind of more niche, high-end type of content play. So that to me is something where I'm all right, that makes sense for a household where you're kind of getting, back to that cable-like experience, something for everyone. I think some other ones are just sort of we will throw 2 things together, 3 things together, and see if that sticks. So I think it has to start with solving a need for the consumer, and then having a really, to your point, having a really good execution on how does it all work together? Is there a product integration? What is the marketing messaging? And those are the things that kind of will lead to success beyond, the product itself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think this is also a topic that's just been on my mind, but I think there's something complicated about bundling, not just from the composition of it, but also just the data, right? And the understanding of subscribers. So this is for anyone, do you anticipate that that's going to become more, I guess, do you feel like players are anticipating or working around that challenge today, or is that something that you think we're going to invest in the future?
Specifically, which challenge? Sorry.
I guess just the notion of bundling.
So as it happens, tomorrow we're releasing a report which is various interviews with content providers asking about the pain points when bundling.
Ah, great.
So and some of the outcomes are, make sure you're clear on why you're doing it. Is this an awareness play? Is it an acquisition play? There's various different reasons why you might go into bundling. Who's the right partner to do it with? So we're enabling lots of different types of companies, not just telcos, to sell bundles. So who's the right partner to go with? Be clear about the objectives and how you're going to measure them. And then, as you've already mentioned, there's a whole bunch of considerations which you need to take into account: the technical side, the commercial side, and the operational side, which could include legal, marketing, and other stuff. So you've got to bring all those things together. So quite a lot to think about when getting into bundling.
Yeah, absolutely.
I should mention one other thing, actually.
Yeah.
When bundling, there are different flavors of bundling, of course. There's the hard bundling, which is free with the thing you're being bundled with. Soft bundling, where there might be some options, choose 2 or 3 things. And then what we call super bundling, which is what Verizon Plus Play is, content hub of 40 plus different types of, and it could be SVOD, could be productivity, gaming, where the customer can pick and choose a la carte and basically add to a shopping basket and buy those things. So, and each of those will have different outcomes, different results, drive different objectives. So quite a lot to think about within the topic of bundling.
Absolutely, and that's interesting. So for you,
Yeah.